Hi everyone, welcome to Module 6. For Module 6, you're going to be reading chapters 16 through 18. You have your paper that's due in Module 7. So you'll submit your paper early if you'd like to receive extra credit points. And you also have your My Econ Lab work. I've included a template right here for you to use. You can download this template and you basically can replace the information that's needed and use this template. I also have a place where you can create your in-text citations and references. But let's go over the paper real quick. Here's what the paper's on. It's in the syllabus for you. You're looking at creating a paper which is only less than 2 pages of content. It doesn't include your title page and reference page. And what you're doing with your paper is you're focusing on your content development, APA formatting, transitions, and your analysis. So what you're looking at is you're finding an article that's relevant to anything we've covered in the course so far. Make sure it's relevant to the course, because that's where a lot of people miss points. So make sure the article is relevant to the course. If you need me to review your article, let me know. I can easily do that. But the key is finding that right article. Now, what you're looking at, after you find that article, you're going to copy and paste the article at the end of your paper or the reference page. You're only submitting one document that will include your APA formatted document with the title page, content, reference page, and after that, you're going to have your full article. No links are allowed. So that means if you submit links for your article, you're going to lose points because I need the full article in your work. But the key is finding an article that's relevant, being able to focus on that article, and applying economic terms to that article. I'm only looking for 1 to 2 economic terms that you can bring into the article. Do not look at journal articles. Make sure to focus on articles that are relevant, easy to understand, and you'll find it much easier to evaluate. So let's go over chapter 16. Chapter 16 is looking at externalities, public goods, and social choice. An externality is a cost or benefit to a third party. You'll notice that externalities are focused on any type of spillovers or in terms of environmental effects. When we look at externalities, we're going to look at marginal social cost and marginal social benefit. Marginal social cost is the additional cost to produce an additional unit, and when we look at the cost, you're looking at how we develop these costs. When you look at the graph, you notice that the graph is focused on the industry, and the firm is represented here. When you look at here, this is where no externality is present. When you look at this example, here's the supply and demand. Now let's show an example of an externality that's present. You'll notice that here's the cost, the additional cost to the firm, given the externality that's present. When there's additional cost to the firm, the government has to get involved to make decisions on how to improve that. Examples that you might see is acid rain. Acid rain is an excellent example of an externality because it looks at the costs that are associated with an externality. Other externalities you might look at are education, vaccinations, picking up trash in a neighborhood. All of these create positive benefits and negative benefits that we look at. An externality is where the government has to get involved to bring about market change and bring about society where they should be developing at. So you'll notice that you'll see a lot of involvement with regard to the markets, and that's important to evaluate. Governments do not like to get involved in markets, but when they do get involved in markets, government will have to make decisions on where it should be producing at. When we look at externalities, with positive externalities, you'll notice that there's very little incentive to engage in the activity because there's not a lot of cost involved in it. When you look at negative externalities, you'll notice that there's too much cost involved, and given that there are higher costs involved, this will create also challenges as well. Now, private choices. When we look at private costs, this is the amount that a consumer pays to consume an additional unit of a particular good or service. Private costs are costs that the government did not account for. When we look at the example right here, you'll notice that marginal social cost equals marginal social benefit. And we look at this, you notice where we can produce at different areas in this example. And what you look at with this graph is, you want to know where the best place to produce at. You'll notice here's where Harry's producing at. However, here's where society should be producing at. So it creates a lot of challenges to get us back to where society thinks we should be at. So if you look at this, you're looking at where should we produce at. So if Harry exceeds the marginal cost, he must bear to play his game for up to 8 hours. There's noise with the game. It's cost being imposed on Jake. There's a cost borne by Harry to the damages imposed by Jake. Playing more than 5 hours, inefficient, because Harry are less than the social cost for every hour of benefit. So if Harry considers only his private costs, he's going to only play for a time where society's point of view. So where do they think it's more appropriate for society? Now, when we internalize the externality, we're trying to put a cost into the externality and where it should be best to produce that. And those are very interesting to figure out where should we finish off in our analysis. So we look at 5 different approaches. You have negotiations, you have bargaining, you have rules and procedures, taxes, subsidies, auctions, and direct government regulation. All of these are important that we bring about in our market changes. And when we look at these changes, they bring about a lot of changes where we should be producing at. So when we internalize the externality, you'll notice that the government will have to get involved to bring about market changes. And when the government brings about market changes, this will be very important in the market. You also look at the Coase theorem. Coase theorem is a very interesting theorem because this theorem is looking at solutions. It noted that the solutions in the market are such that when there's less people involved in the market, solutions can be provided. So less people, easier to find solutions. More people involved in the market, that's going to be harder to find solutions. And that's very logical if you think about it. So these are some of the concepts that we're going to be focusing on this week. If you need me to review your paper, review any of the articles that you're looking at, please let me know, as I'm more than willing to assist, but I look forward to your effort.